Welcome back, Truth Seeker. March 13th, 2019. One of the top news stories today is a mass shooting at a school in Brazil. They're saying at least 8 people killed. And what's interesting about this is it comes on the 23-year anniversary of the Dunblane Massacre, which was the shooting in the United Kingdom where first graders were targeted that got gun rights taken away from UK citizens. That shooting had a lot to do with Sandy Hook, as we've covered in the past. So let's go over this. Again, the Dunblane Massacre was March 13th, 96. Here we are, March 13th, 2019. Wednesday seems to be the most common day of the week for shootings, and not arbitrarily. Dunblane has Gematria 44. Today's shooting is just outside of Sao Paulo, Brazil. Sao Paulo's 44. Wednesday is the day of the week that sums to 44, and of course, shooting is 44. There's a detail that a car wash attendant was also shot before the shooting. We'll get to how car wash is 44 as well. We'll cover that at the end because there's a big parallel to Dunblane there. But in light of this coming on the 23-year anniversary, and they're reporting at least 8 people killed, when you write out 8, it has that gematria of 23. This is a typo right here. March 13th is the 72nd day of the year. In leap years, it's the 73rd day. But with regards to 72, school equals 72. So we get a school shooting on the 72nd day of the year. March 13th is written 13/3 in the majority of the world, like 133. Government equals 133. This was a state school, meaning a government school. All across the world, the New World Order is doing the same thing. Staging incidents of terrorism to instill fear in the people so that they have a reason to believe in Big Brother and want the services of Big Brother, including their military police, which is what they have in Brazil. At least 8 people were killed Wednesday in a shooting at a school near Sao Paulo, Brazil, according to the country's military police. According to the country's military police. And again, it's the same thing worldwide. Police carrying out drills, reporting them as real tragedies, and sometimes they are. 2 armed men wearing hoods entered the state school, Raul, Brazil, in the town of Suzano, about 70 kilometers east of Sao Paulo, and fired at students and staff, the Sao Paulo government said on its official Twitter account earlier Wednesday. So the story comes from the government, it comes from the police, it comes from a state school. Today's date, March 13, 2019, date with a life lesson number 28. Notice in Gematria, with the alphabetic order, Dunblane and Sao Paulo, both 28, it's the government reporting. And with the reverse alphabetic order, they're both 44. Of course, kill has that Gematria of 44 and 28. This is a story of 2 men entering a school, doing a mass killing, and then committing suicide. Par for the course. So here it is. More than 10 people were injured, according to local media. 6 students and 2 school officials were killed in the shooting, the Sao Paulo government said. 6 of the victims died at the scene, 2 others at a hospital, according to police. Students at the school range in age from 11 to 18, officials said. Suzano police confirmed to CNN that the 2 attackers killed themselves. The shooters arrived at the school during the lunch break, police said. This is exactly like Columbine. 2 attackers, they supposedly killed themselves. If you've not read my book, all of this stuff is covered in great detail there. They first shot an education coordinator and a supervisor before opening fire on students in the schoolyard, according to police. The gunman also went to the school's linguistic center where students hid in a classroom. The shooters committed suicide in a corridor, police said. So, the name of the school, State School Raul, Brazil, gematria of 79, like massacre, like murder. Again, this is on the anniversary of the Dunblane Massacre. State School Raul, Brazil, also has gematria of 137, like massacre, like government. 137 is the 33rd prime, masonry 33, secrecy 33, order 33, police 33, numbers we talk about all the time. Don't forget what the original definition of terrorism is. Government by intimidation. That's essentially what government is. Government essentially is terrorism. Governments have always used intimidation to control their people. That's what it all comes down to. The name of this town, Suzano, has Gematria of 96 like Freemason. It also has Gematria of 30 like Police. A little bit more of the reporting. Before entering the school, the gunman shot a man who was working at a car wash in front of the school. The man was hospitalized and undergoing surgery, police said. I just want you to notice the gematria of car wash and Dunblane. Perfect overlap in 3 of the 4 base ciphers. With the alphabetic order, perfect overlap. With the alphabetic order and rules of numerology, perfect overlap. With the reverse alphabetic order and rules of numerology, perfect overlap. And 44. It's the number we see again and again in shootings. Sao Paulo Governor João Doria declared 3 days of mourning. I went to the place and was shocked by what I saw. Our solidarity to all, Doria told reporters. Doria said police arrived about 8 minutes after they were called. Families will receive assistance for funerals, as well as medical and psychological help, he said. Police were checking the area for possible explosive devices. Remember Columbine? They planted bombs, 2 shooters. So what's interesting is the governor, from his latest birthday, his 61st, which was December 16th, to this shooting today is 87 days later, and his name in Gematria sums to 87. And with regards to him being 61, the terminology for these shootings is an active shooter, which also sums to 61. So what are the odds? What are the odds? Now, to talk about Dunblane a little bit more and its relation to Sandy Hook, right now a lot of truth content is being deleted from the web, including my past channels. I'm on my 18th channel, my first channel, which had thousands of videos, tens of millions of views, tens of thousands of subscribers. It was deleted. It was given 3 quick strikes, and the final strike was a video that had been up for years on Sandy Hook. And anyway, it's Lenny Posner, who supposedly lost his son Noah Posner at Sandy Hook, who's been leading this censorship charge. The date of birth for his son is November 20th, 11/20, as we write it in the United States. What's key there is 11/2, 112. Sandy Hook equals 112. Noah Posner, born November 20th, supposedly killed in the Sandy Hook school shooting. Of course, the shooter there was Adam Lanza, born on April 22nd, the 112th day of the year, where all mainstream media was sure to report that he weighed 112 pounds. And just ask yourself, why would they report that? Also mention that he's 72 inches. Again, this shooting was synced up with the Dunblane Massacre, which was on March 13th. March 13th is the 72nd day of the year in non-leap years. School equals 72. Again, 112 is the alt dialing code for 911 in the United States, and it's the most common emergency dialing code throughout the world, especially in Europe. Also, with regards to Dunblane, March 13th, 96, 3 plus 13 plus 96, that is a date with numerology of 112, 112. The year of the Dunblane shooting, it actually was a leap year. It was 96. And speaking of 96, I forgot to emphasize the point about 96. The Dunblane Massacre was in 96. Suzano, where today's shooting happened on the anniversary, Suzano equals 96. But March 13th, 96, it was a leap year, so it was the 73rd day of the year. Dunblane equals 73. Elementary school equals 73. The Sandy Hook school shooting was first graders, just like the Dunblane Massacre. Adam Lanza was the shooter at Sandy Hook. Adam Lanza, 73. Leonard Posner, 73. The man who's leading the censorship charge. A man who is a true terrorist in every sense of the word. a tyrant, a traitor, an evil and horrible human being. That's who Leonard Posner is. Even if Sandy Hook was real and his son really died that day, which is highly unlikely, seeing as how there's zero evidence that anybody was shot, seeing as how Sandy Hook Elementary School had been closed for years before the shooting even happened, seeing as how the day of the shooting, the news media apologized for showing footage of a drill at a school 20 miles away, seeing as how you had a man who led the autopsies who was laughing about it on television, seeing as how you had Robbie Parker who was laughing and making jokes off camera until he was cued in that he was on camera, and then he did a big deep breath and went into this fake cry and asked people to donate money to his Facebook. If any of this is evidence to you that a school shooting happened, then I guess maybe, little Noah got it. But even if he did, it doesn't give anyone any right to censor information, period. If people really died that day, then we're all wrong for questioning it. Doesn't mean the information needs to be censored from the web, everything that has been exposed. But again, there's zero evidence of any shooting at Sandy Hook, a school that had been closed due to flooding from 2008. Shooting happened in 2012. Don't forget Hurricane Sandy, right before Sandy Hook, plus everything else we've ever talked about. Really, if you haven't read my book, you should read it. Tons of information everybody needs to know. And here's the image of Leonard Posner, this big courageous man who hides in the shadows, who's never put his face out there once. You can see his long nose, though. Like Pinocchio. Also, crucial information from the day of the Dunblane Massacre to the day of the Sandy Hook school shooting, December 14th, 2012. 6,120 days. It's the 612 that matters. 612. Dunblane Massacre, 612. Columbine High School, 612. Columbine, you had the 2 school shooters who committed suicide, just like today's. Orlando Strong, the motto after the Pulse nightclub shooting, 612. And why did that matter? Because from the day of the Pulse nightclub shooting on June 12th, 612, to the date of the Stoneman Douglas Valentine's Day shooting was 612 days later. 612. The 87 weeks are jumping out to me today, too. Valentine. Remember, the Stoneman Douglas shooting was on Valentine's Day, a day that you think about hearts. Think about a Pulse nightclub shooting. Pulse, a heart pulses. 612 days later, you get another Florida shooting at Stoneman Douglas on Valentine's. Police, 612. So anyway. Oh yeah, also the Stoneman Douglas school was named after a woman who was from Minneapolis, which is the 612 area code. And we talked about how their symbol was just like the Philadelphia Eagles, who just won the Super Bowl days later, defeating the Patriots, who they hadn't played since December 6th before the Super Bowl, 6/12. It's also a distance of 113 weeks. Eagles equals 113. Stoneman Douglas High School, 113. Sandy Hook Elementary School, 113. If you go back to Adam Lanza, who is born on April 22nd, the 112th day of the year, notice he was born in a leap year, which means he was actually technically born on the 113th day of the year. But you can understand why they code the 112 and the 113. So anyhow, this is how it is again and again. New World Order. They use the same code worldwide. The English language, which is the language of the New World Order. The Gregorian calendar, which is the language of the world. And it's just so repetitive. And with each latest ritual, you see how it pays tribute to history's past. Just like today, the anniversary of the Dunblane Massacre in 96 in a town with 96 Gematria, Suzano. Just using the alphabetic order, as simple as it gets. We'll leave it there, Truth Seeker. Until next time.